Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 11 of the Sports Card Advantage podcast. I'm Jeff. We are welcome back. He decided to come back and grace us with his presence this week. Welcome back, Bunk. How you doing?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Good. We have a packed agenda this week, so we're going to jump right into the main event. Once again, the sky is falling in the hobby, so the chicken littles that are out there running around.
Twitter timeline.
Yeah, exactly. People running around, scared, panic selling. Obviously prices are down across the board on some things, but up on others. What's your take right now as far as what's going on in the hobby?
I think we're just in the midst, and you can speak this a little better. We're just in the midst of the next little market correction here on what's going on. You got box prices that seemingly won't come down; they keep going up. So there's got to be a line somewhere where you're trying to sell something from a new product, but it's not really matching the value of what maybe you paid for the box or what you paid for the break to get in. So you find people chasing the more scarcity than they are the lower end stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the problem is the base card stuff is down. Rare stuff is up. Box breaking is, status quo. It's hot and breaks are getting filled. So you're not going to see Panini and Topps drop prices because why should they? Guys are still buying boxes and cases by the truckload so that they can fill their breaks and these companies are making money. But we are seeing the base card PSA 10 high pop finally start to unwind. And, I think like any other market, markets can't sustain 15 or 20x, what the prices were 12, 24 months ago. And we're starting to see that come down. I mean, Luka's trading in, not trading, but selling in the $800 range. And that's off from his $1,900, highs. And, we just saw the same thing happen in crypto. Over the weekend, the last few weeks, crypto absolutely just dumped. And it took a lot shorter of a time frame, but 50 to 60% down. And we're seeing the same thing in sports cards.
Yeah, and something to keep an eye on for sure, because we still have a bajillion cards coming back from PSA in the next couple months.
Yeah.
I keep an eye on those population reports.
I mean, supposedly there's 9 million cards at PSA right now that are going to be sent back over the course of the next 6 months to a year. And we're about to turn the odometer on, like Luka, for example, is going from 16.9 and change to 17,000 Prism PSA 10 2018. And at some point, those values are going to come down because there's no scarcity. They're not
So at that point, I almost rather spend my money on a refractor or color parallel that's 25 or to 50 that's raw.
Yeah, and that's...
It may hold more value than the base rookie card PSA 10.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we're seeing right now. The rarer cards, your numbered cards, your RPAs, your, just autos, any of those cards, you're seeing all-time highs. People are spending the money on those cards. We've seen all-time highs on Jordans. The Honus Wagner just sold for $3.6 million. There's people out there spending, but it seems like the mania of the hobby during COVID is over. And now cooler heads are prevailing, and we're seeing some actual, market corrections, and we're going to start to see new bottoms get set. And we're going to start to see new prices and new levels. Luka Forever was $1,200, and Trey Forever, was like $300 or $400 Prism PSA 10s, and those prices are coming down, and they're going to set new levels. And in my opinion, as far as the base card market is concerned, I'm sitting on the sideline and waiting to see what those new levels are.
That was my next correction. My next question for you was, how long time frame do you think we got to sit and watch some of these cards?
So I think you look at the charts, like, for example, card ladder, fantastic. We're not paid to say it. We both use card ladder all the time. They will give you an idea. Start looking at where things used to be selling for, because prices have a tendency to repeat. And, I believe with the Luka, the next range that, had consistent prices at that level was $500. So I'm going to sit and see if it's going to come. If you really think Luka is the truth and you want that card, I'm sitting and I'm waiting. I want to wait till the prices come down and set that new support level where I can feel comfortable buying in, that I'm not going to lose my ass over the next however long and pray that it goes back up.
Right, and then again, to our point earlier, I'm keeping an eye on those population reports, especially as these cards are coming back from PSA 10, because even if it sets a new low next month, we're getting close to one. What's to say in 6 months it's not even lower because there's even more.
Yeah, I mean, when are we going to see one of these cards hit the $20,000 pop? I mean, that's nuts. Because
a base card.
Yeah, it's a base card, but it's a base card that was printed well to the point where you have PSA 10s, like 20,000. You potentially could have 20,000 PSA 10s. And I mean,
doesn't do anything for me.
No, I mean, not at all, unless you're just a fan of the player and you want to get it graded and stick it in a shelf for however long.
What are all these people doing that spent thousands on these PSA 10s a year ago?
You're basically panic selling. That's one of the reasons why the prices fell so fast. People couldn't get out of these things soon enough. And as soon as everybody started to, as soon as that first acorn fell out of the sky, people were just dumping. That's the speculation. Not only seeing it on eBay, but also looking at some of the stuff going on at card shows. People are looking to dump these high pop base cards. So it's something to keep in mind. And looking at when you're shopping for cards, look for refractors, look for autos, look for low pop, PSAs. Even look for raw. And just do the best you can if you can buy it live at a show, and make sure that it's centered and it's in good condition.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, for those that aren't short-term flipping or just in it for the money, yada, 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 now's the best time. If you're a set builder, hopping on all these base stuff, people are pretty much giving base away at this point. So if you're a set builder, find some of these people and get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, if you're relatively new and you are doing sets, where are you looking? Like, where are you shopping to try to buy, those last 5 cards in a set that you're trying to, fill it out?
Yeah, there's a couple of nice sites out there. It's like, Sports Lots has all sorts of singles there that you don't normally see. And COMC is where I get most of my set needs. They're never going to send them to me. But I purchased them and they're on their way, and I've crossed them off my checklist. I don't know when I'm going to see them, but they're on their way. There's nice places there. I try not to do it on eBay because of the shipping. It's just out of control. I mean, I can't. I'm not buying $2 singles and paying $4.50 shipping for just to fill the set if I don't have to.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
And between those two things, and I try to trade. I see someone that maybe opened the product, and I'll do the work. I'll reach out and say, hey, listen, I'm looking for this number, this parallel. Do you have it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk about trading here in a little bit. There's some interesting stuff that emerged from the Dallas Card Show over the weekend about a trade that has Instagram and Twitter all abuzz as far as what it was, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So yeah, I mean, right now, there are those that have said that this is over, and it had its run during COVID, and now that the world's opening back up, yada yada. This business or hobby, however you want to label it, has survived for 75, 80 years or even longer, depending on I guess if you go back to 1900 whatever when it started. It survived for 100 years. It's going to keep on trucking. It's more just a matter of it's going to be a lot harder for you to buy, grade, and flip and make that quick buck, which is what a lot of people were trying to do. And now you're going to have to earn it a little bit. So, just like any other market, it will create a new bottom. It will create a jumping off point, and we will do this all over again in 6 months, when football is in full swing and the products are hot and everybody's jumping all over sports cards again. We'll buckle up and go around for another ride.
Yeah. Do you think there's already people just packing up? Maybe came in 8 months ago and they're already like, all right, I'm getting rid of everything. See ya.
Yeah, there are. I mean, you read some of the comments on Instagram and some of the people talking about it and whether or not they're just blowing smoke because it's Instagram, who knows, but there are a lot of people that are holding some pretty big freaking bags. Guys that have bought, guys that bought in 4 or 5 months ago that, bought at the top. It's just like
Yeah.
it's just like any other, craze. The FOMO takes over and you have to get in to try to catch some of that free easy money. And I guarantee you there's people that bought into some of these cards $1,000 ago and now are thinking they need to salvage whatever they can and they just want to make as much of their money back as possible and get out.
Do you see any major cons to a large number of people that are leaving like that, like you just mentioned? Any
Yeah.
cons for the business or hobby?
Yeah, I do. I mean, unfortunately, the more people that leave, the less money, the less money that there is, that's in the market. And, having more money in the market helps, you get more for your cards and helps things be worth more. So it just depends. It depends on the way you look at it. If you're looking at it as a business to make money, it's bad. If you're looking at it as a hobbyist and you want to get your players and your cards and the guys that you love for a good price, then you're doing cartwheels in the streets right now because, that Jeter or that, Ken Griffey or that Trout or whatever, is going to come back down to something you may be able to afford.
Yep. And then you pop in and you wait for this to happen again one day.
Yeah, it's going to. I mean, it's only a matter of time. Certain alternative investments like cards, crypto, sneakers, etc., all have their moments in the sun, and the sun is setting for now, but it will rise again. And I don't think we're even at that point yet. I still think that shows are packed, box breaks are packed. People are doing their thing. It's just a matter of just riding this correction. All right, we're going to move on to our investment flip lottery ticket section of the show. We are still talking NBA basketball for at least the first part of it, and then Bunk's going to drop some baseball knowledge on us
I
here.
gotta salvage this with some baseball.
Yeah, don't worry, guy. Basketball playoffs will be over, in the next 4 to 6 weeks, and it's all baseball and football from there for at least for a while. So I'm gonna bring up somebody that we talked about last week. I'm gonna hammer it again just because it needs to be. Talking Donovan Mitchell once again. He has the ability to be the next future star of this league. He's already somewhat of a star, but he has the ability to be the next big guy. If you look at his stats, he's gotten better every single year that he's been in the league. Points are up. 3-point percentage is up, field goal, free throw percentage, all his numbers are consistently going up the last 4 years. His cards, not. Most of his most of his PSA 10 base cards you can get for between $150 to $300. That's Prism, that's Optic, some of those refractors, from Optic, the colors and all these other things, are all very, very affordable for somebody who could be a future Hall of Famer, provided he stays healthy. He's about to make his 2021 playoff debut. His cards are still going down. If he comes in and makes some noise and the Jazz go a few rounds, it should be either an easy flip or, something you put in a drawer and hold for a while. And
So
then
am I monitoring now?
I'm buying now.
Yeah.
I mean, we have picked up some, Donovan Mitchell PSA 10s over the last couple of weeks. For full disclosure, we're buying actively. I think that he's a good long-term investment. He potentially is a good short-term flip if if he plays well and his ankle is healthy and he looks good in the playoffs. Easily see a bump because his stuff is so freaking affordable right now. And it's nowhere near the pops that you're seeing with like Luka. Luka's at.
What do you think the delay is? The market? The injury?
He's hurt. Yeah, he hasn't played in over a month, and so people don't know what his status is going to be. But with anything, you got to speculate a little bit here, and you know, it's at a certain level of support that I'm comfortable with, that the risk versus reward is low. So I think that there's huge upside with little risk for him right now. And I mean, his raw silver you can get for less than $300. PSA 10's going for $1,500. So you have potential 5x if you get a good grade, even 2 to 3x if it's a 9. There's a ton of opportunity with him. And the Jazz didn't win Game 1. They sat him. They weren't supposed to. He thought he was playing. They made the decision not to play him. So now there's all this like media hype about him wanting out of Utah, which is pretty much BS. But who knows? I just think there's tremendous opportunity with him. Same with Tatum. We've talked about Tatum recently. Tatum and Donovan Mitchell, potential future stars running the league once LeBron hangs it up. The league there's going to be a big void for your top 5 superstars in the league. Both have huge potential. Both guys are very affordable.
So what am I doing with Tatum right now if the Nets wipe the floor with him?
I would potentially wait, because if they get swept, you go into basketball offseason, people forget about it. And I would wait on Tatum until July, August, and then start scooping some of his stuff up going into next year. They have a couple guys on the Celtics roster that are hurt. Got to figure the big 3 for the Nets aren't going to be around for more than a year or 2 at the most, and then the East is wide open again. The Knicks guy. Knicks unfortunately lost in a heartbreaker in Game 1, but
Trey got him.
Yeah, Trey did, and you saw. We talked about Trey, last week and in the past, and he had a great Game 1, and you saw an immediate pop on some of his stuff, and
which was collectively down.
Yeah, his stuff was getting absolutely smoked, just like everybody else. Basketball as a whole has been getting absolutely killed, other than the rare stuff, and Trey is no different, but there's no reason for it, other than just market correction. But there's no reason for him to be down. He also has improved every year since he's come into the league. Lastly, as far as on the buying side, Jamal Murray, he's hurt. He's been out for a while. He's not coming back. He will be down. So him also, I'm looking at either buying now or trying to wait another month or 2 until NBA goes into hiatus. I think that him and Jokic have a chance to win a title in the future once LeBron's out of the way. His stuff is also incredibly affordable. Base card PSA 10s less than 200. PSA 10 silvers around 800. So incredibly affordable, great talent, ability to play well with Jokic and win a title. So some good low risk, high reward potential for all 3 of those guys.
Under your ladders.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but not least, on the basketball side, Tyler Hero, dump it all. Sell. We talked about him.
Get anything?
We talked about him last week as far as, potentially, his stuff is at basically all-time lows. And, if he caught fire, et cetera, he's been a ghost in the first 2 games. And, he had an average to below average season. I don't think he's repeating. He's going to be just an average, guard in this league, and I think you can just dump it all now.
So we're beyond panic selling.
Yeah, I think the great white hope for guards, the next Jason Williams type is not going to live up to that hype by any stretch, and anything that I have Tyler Hero is out the door. All right. So let's shift to baseball. Give you an opportunity to jump on the mic here, and then I have one surprise. We're gonna go outside the sports card world to close this for a lottery opportunity.
A little Magic the Gathering.
That's not that, but not far off.
No, the one thing I'm looking at this past week is the Mariners' Taylor Trammell. He got sent down when Kellenic came up, and he's done nothing but absolutely great. So he's clearly, you look at his career numbers, he has nothing left to prove in the minor leagues. There just needs to be a home for him, and he needs to succeed at the major league level.
Why'd they send him down?
Because he was hitting a $140 in the bigs.
Okay.
And Kellenic was raking. Now Kellenic's hitting a $140 in the bigs, and Trammell's raking AAA. But compared to his February, March, early April PSA 10, 2016 Bowman Chrome auto prices, they are down collectively $100, $150 from the preseason once he, the shorter roster spot was going to seem to be in the starting lineup. He's only 23 years old. He's got nothing left to prove. So if it's not with the Mariners, maybe with someone else, and he turns it around, you're looking at a nice little payday on him.
Which cards am I looking to acquire for him?
I'm looking at his 2016 Bowman Chrome. That's his first Bowman card.
Okay.
The autograph PSA 10s are down over $100 across the board, base and refractors, and his raw stuff is way down.
And what are you picking that stuff up for? What are the prices on those right now?
His PSA 10 autos.
Yeah.
I saw one as low as 50, but they're in like the 50 to 120 range right now, whereas they were pushing 200 plus a month or two ago.
Picking up his 2016 first Bowman PSA 10 for $50. Am I holding that till he gets back to the big, starts to hit, and then hopefully be able to get 150, 200 for it if I wanted to flip it?
Yeah, I don't think it's if he's your guy, he's a long-term hold, but I think it's a couple-month hold here. Let's see him get back into the bigs. Let's see him get traded. Like I said, he's only 23 years old, and if you can figure out to hit at the major league level, which we haven't seen yet, he steals a ton of bases. So he's a dual threat guy. I mean, he's a 20 homer, and I don't know what the ceiling is on stolen bases, but he's got over 100 career minor league swipes. So he's a guy that can have collectors talking.
Okay. What position does he play?
He's an outfield.
Okay. Mariners right now with Kyle Lewis, Kellenic, and whoever else they got out there don't have room for him.
Yeah, well, he just wasn't hitting. He wasn't hitting, and they brought up, Kellenic's only 21. They brought him up. They got Julio Rodriguez at high A, who's on his way, probably climbing the ladder real quick. We might not see him this year, but he's probably going to be in the mix next year or the year after. So I don't know if Trammell has a home with the Mariners, but nice ball player. He's going to have to fit somewhere.
Yeah, so if it's Julio Rodriguez, Kellenic, and Kyle Lewis, those are all guys with huge hype around them. So I got to imagine they're going to, that's their starting outfield 2022. So, all right, cool. I mean, then, you should have opportunity to pick this guy up and, stash a PSA 10 auto and, hopefully flip it for 3 or 4X in the next 3 months, or potentially have to sit on it until next season.
Yeah, and for me, if you want to go even cheaper than that, you go his raws at auction right now.
Yeah.
Hop in on those.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like $10, $15 opportunities to grab a few, stack them, and send them off to the abyss, while you're waiting, and, see if you can get something back from SGC or PSA. Cool. So now we are going to take our first foray into outside of the big three sports in general. We're going to be talking 1990 Marvel Universe. So I don't follow Marvel Universe cards in the slightest. However, I happened to be scrolling through Card Ladder and saw a 1990 Marvel Universe Storm card selling for $5. And then I clicked on it, and then I saw what the PSA 10 were selling for, and those were going for $500. So to me, if you're getting 100x on a PSA 10 grade, it is incredibly low risk, high reward lottery ticket opportunity. You could buy 1990 Marvel Universe boxes for about between $600 and $800. They come 36 packs to a box because it's old school 1990. You have a ton of opportunity to get cards that you can buy raw for between like $2 and $20. And the minimum that I'm seeing on the PSA 10s for these is like $250 going all the way up to $2,500, depending on which one you're buying. The Black Panther PSA 10 sold recently for $2,500, and the raws, on those are going for like $20, $30 at the most. The only thing that I will warn you about, it's the old school car design. So it has a white border all the way around. So that leaves you a lot less room for perfect centering. So that makes it potentially makes it difficult to pick up that PSA 10. But all of these cards have pops less than 100 for PSA 10. It's not something that's hugely gone after, but obviously the next round of Marvel is coming out. There's 4 movies coming out between now and the end of the year. Marvel's going to have some shine back now that the world is opening up. Black Widow comes out in like a month. And then there's 3 other movies coming out this year. So, I think that these will hold their value and or go back up because they just like everything else has been down really, really dramatically over the last few months. But I think once Marvel comes back, the hobby bounces back a little bit. The huge lottery ticket opportunity buy. I saw a lot of raw Punishers going for $1 a piece. That if you get them graded and one of them comes back, PSA 10, that's $300. So you'll spend $10 for potential $300. So I think it's well worth it to take a risk if you're looking for some flyers and some flipping opportunities. 1990 Marvel Universe, still plenty of it on eBay to be found.
I'll start with my basement, going through old boxes and see if I have any first.
You never know, man. It's free money out there, and the opportunities to get raw graded and turn huge profits are getting fewer and far between. But it's out there for these Marvel cards.
Yeah, for me, I'd probably, if I'm looking through a quarter bin at a show, I grab a few there if they look good. I don't know that I can trust 30-year-old cards on crappy eBay pictures.
Yeah,
I'm relying on a grade in order to make any money.
yeah. I mean, for me, the only thing that I'm looking for is the centering. If the centering looks solid, you don't have any way to tell the surface. I mean, centering in corners, but mostly the centering. If the centering is good, I think you're 75% of the way home as far as getting that PSA 10 grade. And then the rest is you just have to roll the dice. But I mean, if you can get a lot,
25%.
You just got to take roll the dice and spend the $30-$40 on a lot of 10 cards, and then find the best ones when they come in, and spend the $20 on the 60-day grading at SGC or HGA, or wait the time at PSA and see what you get.
All right, that's better than Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I don't know shit about Magic the Gathering, and not really gonna ever look into it. All right, so we got our sports card education section coming up here. National show, literally 2 months and 3 days from today. Dallas shows are really getting popping. There was a big Miami show, about 3 weeks ago. So my question to you is, people that are going to their first shows, how do you prepare for that? What are you prepping? What am I looking for? How am I preparing, to attend my first card show?
Yeah, I mean, if you've never been to a show before, and even if you've only been to a few, they are completely intimidating and overwhelming if you have low experience there or haven't been there before. So it's good to go in with a plan, for sure. I know when I go, I make sure I know exactly what I'm looking for when I'm there. I'm not afraid to talk to the dealers and ask them straight up, here's what I'm looking for, speed up the process instead of looking through a billion cards. But I make lists, and I have a budget. So I have my cash that I'm ready to spend, and I'm allotting a certain amount to exactly what I'm looking for in terms of setting.
And on your list, are you making sure that you're looking up comps before you go?
It depends. I mean, some of my lower, kind of sets that I'm building, not so much. I have a general idea, but yeah, if they're more refractors or higher type set needs and fillers, sure, I'll write down in my notes, right in my, I have Google Drive with all the set needs I have, and I'll put a couple comps in there. I mean, certainly we have the advantage of being on our phones at these shows, and the worst when dealers are looking up prices right in front of you and telling you what they're selling the card for. But you have the ability and you have that data at your fingertips. So But I like to know ahead of time when I'm looking at something and have a good idea what the value is instead of looking every single thing up right at the table.
Yeah, and what about pricing? Am I anticipating paying less than I would on eBay?
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think like anything, like any kind of a deal scenario, I think if you take a few items or the more you take, you have a better shot of making an offer on something. You're certainly not going to get away with lowballing face to face at the show.
That was going to be my question. Do I worry about being an asshole and offering much less than, asking price? Or do you
Yeah,
just...
the second you offer $3 on a $10 card that's probably legit, closer to 10, they're not even going to bother with you on anything else you ask for.
Yeah,
so,
there's
certain... Go in, know your prices, and be willing to spend the money on it. That's why you got to go in with lists, what you're looking for, a general idea what they're worth. That way you're not even in that awkward situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I don't think for the most part you're going in there finding something so low that you're going to go and put it on eBay that afternoon. That's not the goal for me of card shows. I don't know if our flippers overrunning card show just looking for deals. I don't know that's the case. But in my head, that's not what they're for.
Yeah, I mean...
the guys selling the cards are trying to make the money.
Yeah, true. And I think it's... your opportunities to get your deals are going to be at the end of the show. You go on the last day, the last few hours.
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, when people are wrapping up and they're trying to make their nut for the weekend to make it worthwhile. Those guys are still looking to turn a profit and dump some of those cards. You're not going to get like 50% off type stuff, but you definitely may be able to do better than day one.
No, and always remember, there's always somebody who's willing to spend the market value on the card you might want that you think you're going to flip. Someone's going to buy it.
Yeah,
so if you want it and you have knowledge on the comp and where you're comfortable spending, buy it.
Yeah, and it's just a question of whether or not they want to take it with them or they want to dump it and take the cash, and that's why you look for deals on the last day. So they don't want to take their inventory home, and they prefer to sell it, but at the same time, they're not going to take a huge loss. So you got to just keep those things in mind and try to find a good balance.
Right, and I think your best bet if you're looking to turn it over a little bit is the more you take from a single dealer, the better price you're going to get, and then you have opportunity to grab some PC cards and maybe something that you can turn around on, but you got a good deal on it because you took 12 pieces from one table.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more you bundle, usually the better the deal, because they know that they can get rid of 5-10 cards at a time and make some money. So definitely work that in. We'll be talking more as the National gets closer. Tips on the shows and what's going to be going on at the National. As a first friendly tip for you, if you are planning on attending the National, best to book your hotel now. Anything that's within a walking distance radius of the convention center is pretty much sold out. So definitely want to look into getting those reservations now. You'll be staying 20 minutes outside the city and having to cab it or Uber it back and forth.
I'll sleep on your floor.
Yeah, well, I booked 2 months ago, so I got a really good deal on a hotel. So psyched for this first National for me, and this is the first National since Sports Card Mania has taken over in the last 2 years, because last year was canceled. So I think this year
twice.
Yeah, everybody and their mother's going to be there this year, and it's going to be so much pandemonium. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Alrighty, it's time for the hot take. So I had the opportunity. So for the so few of you that listen to us on a regular basis, even though we are growing and trying to build our audience, if you did listen to an episode probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, we talked about Wander Franco. I did have the opportunity to see Wander in person over the weekend. I will say he is fast as shit. I don't think, the big argument that you and I got into was his power. I personally think I'm doubling down on he's not going to be a power hitter in Major League Baseball. He'll be a good shortstop, steal some bases, hit some doubles and triples, but I don't think that he's going to be any kind of power hitter. He's not going to be your Trevor Story hitting 30, 40 home runs a year at shortstop. I still think he'll be a good player, but I'm doubling down on his. I wouldn't be buying any of his stuff at a really high end, just based on A, what he's done so far in AAA, and B, seeing how freaking tiny he is in real life.
So, what would you say to the guy yesterday that bought his first Bowman from Auto Red 5, $200,000?
I would say that if you can flip it when he comes up to the bigs and make some more money on it, go right ahead. But I wouldn't be holding that long term. Everybody got all hyped up when he hit the cover off the ball for the first 5 games, and then now he's gone. I think his hit on Sunday was his first hit in 6 games.
Yeah, he's in 2 seconds.
Yeah, so I just don't see him having that Trout like career, and I don't think that. I mean, he's a fantastic player, but I just don't see it being, Mantle, Trout, Acuna level of talent, and I would not be buying any really high end stuff until he proves it in the major leagues, and at that point, it's already too late. But it's one that I would pass on just because I just don't think it's going to translate to the major league level.
I agree with you in the sense of buying like super high end and stuff. I mean, I'm not comfortable at that level with him, but I got tons of Wander, and the second he comes up, I'm getting rid of it all. Am I getting rid of it all? But no, I'll keep one or two.
Yeah, I mean,
back and see what kind of career he has. But
there's a big difference.
I have no interest in collecting him, but the opportunity's there.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between buying, first Bowman PSA 10 that you can get for $100-$200 and being able to flip it for $400 or $500 when there's a ton of hype around him when he comes up, versus spending $200,000. I mean, if I'm spending $200,000, I'm going to invest in Trout. I'm going to invest in potentially Acuna. Yeah, Mickey Mantle. I mean, give me something that's gonna hold value versus. I mean, that is literally pure gambling speculation.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
That's all it is. I mean, if you got it, God bless. But if you're looking to make money or at least sustain your portfolio of cards, I mean, Wander is pure speculation. He has hit 0 pitches at the major league level, and it's literally just it's just gambling.
He's got as many hits as your boy Jason.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, we bought
and they're the same height, sir.
Yeah, but I'll take Dominguez. Wander's like 130 pounds soaking wet, but he definitely legged out a triple. He hit the ball down the line and legged out a triple and helped them win. But at the same time, I just don't see his power, and he's just so tiny on the field. So we'll see. But I'm sticking to, you want to buy and flip on lower end stuff, great. But higher end stuff, I think that you're going to wind up holding the bag in a few years.
Yeah, I'm not collecting Wander to your point.
Yeah. Last but not least, let's talk peanut gallery. We're going to talk trading cards at shows, trading cards in general. Earlier in this episode, you mentioned trading to get sets. That I understand, but the whole trading cards that are higher end cards, I don't get. We got some questions coming in. There was a trade that happened over the weekend at the Dallas Card Show. There was a Herbert auto to 5 or 1 of 1. It's a low numbered card. Either way, it's a Herbert auto low card PSA 10 for 2 Trouts and 70,000 cash. And what I don't understand is, why are people trading higher end cards other than for the pure enjoyment or the pure fun of negotiation? I get that. But otherwise, what's the point? Why shouldn't I just sell my stuff and then buy the card that I want?
I mean, I gotta agree with you here. I mean, why don't? There's so many platforms to sell. Why don't I just sell, get what I want that way instead of To me, I get it. People want, they have something high end and they can get something of their PC, and it just seems like a good fit there. But I don't know. It just seems like too much work for me.
Well, I mean, so that goes back to the, our main event topic as far as like what's the state of the hobby, and that you see some people that said booths are selling out and people are buying and selling and doing whatever, and then you have other people that are saying the anecdotal stuff from Dallas was that there was a lot less buying and a lot more trading, and people are looking to trade up. But I mean, the value of the card is the value of the card, whether or not you're buying, selling, trading, people are still comping that stuff before they're doing anything. So to me, I don't know. It doesn't make sense unless you feel that you can, I mean, for lack of a better word, get over on somebody, and or you're trading for someone who you think has upside, and whatever card you're trading, you don't feel that there's upside, and you're going to get the better end of the deal. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to me why you're not just selling for cash, buying the card that you want, and then helping control the environment a little bit more.
Well, to your point, I think most of the trading that goes on in shows is one side thinks
they're right,
getting away with highway robbery.
Yeah,
seemingly even on the table. They're seeing some sort of future upside. You got someone coming in, they got a higher end prospect, got good upside, and they're trading it for somebody maybe a little bit more established, but the value may not hold as well. But there's a good opportunity to take this card off this person. So.
Yeah, I mean, similar to fantasy football trades or any other, fantasy sports trades, you feel that you're getting the higher end of the deal, which makes sense. If you feel that you can get over on somebody or you're going to get the better deal, obviously by all means. Otherwise, in certain cases, you may be able to potentially make more at auction than you are, as far as whatever agreed upon comp value that you get with whoever you're trading with. So it's always been a mystery to me, but at the same time, there seems to be a lot of it going on. You see a ton of people posting trades on Instagram and, the negotiations and all that stuff. So,
yeah, good point. I mean, I would feel much more comfortable trading in person at a show than I do trading now I'm talking higher end pieces. I trade all the time for lower end stuff. But for higher end pieces, I don't feel good about sending 2 or 3 cards in the mail to somebody. And then I'd rather just trade those straight up at the show if I'm going to even attempt trading some higher end cards.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's always the opportunity. And, there's usually nights, trade nights set up, and people have their cases of stuff and ready to break them out and show them off and, see that. But I don't know. I don't necessarily see the opportunity, but at the same time, I can see where other people are looking at it as a way to, potentially trade up and make more. And, so it's up to you as far as what you want to do, but just make sure that you stick to if you're going to trade, stick to your guns, know your comps, and you always have the opportunity to walk away unless, whoever you're trading with has something super rare that you can't find. And then in which case, you got to do what you got to do.
Very cool.
All right, sir. We are wrapping up episode 11. Anything else you want to add for today?
No, I'm good. Go Yankees.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's right. We got Yankees in first place at this point.
To be fair, I haven't looked at standings. I just know they're on a winning streak.
Fair enough. Good, fantastic fan you are there, sir. Way to pay attention. All right. Well, that's going to take us out of episode 11. We will see you next week for episode 12.